Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? So, mic in check today. Last time was such a disaster. The mic wasn't working, the camera froze. I think today should be all good. Turn this down though. Perfect. Alright, so we've been working on butterfly guard recently. Today's the last segment we're gonna do on it. Alright, so we've been working on butterfly. Oh, there's my voice. But yeah, it's gonna be kind of a quick recap on what we did on Monday's class, which was the one that we messed up a bit. But today will probably be a bit better. We'll get all the points across, and I've added a few more little things to work on. So the first thing we looked at in terms of butterfly guard was the difference between the two types of guards. We've got the distance style butterfly and the close-up version of it. So I'm just gonna run through them. I'll show you the clips just like I always do, and if you got any questions, just fire away. So the first few set again is against someone who's not really kind of engaging on you, but is kind of passively away. We're gonna initiate the arm drag and look to find the back or any sort of combination from there that you like. But this is probably your first little move. You want to learn from the distance kind of arm drag, distance control. Then we have our little combinations. So we have it pretty much work as a chain. We have arm drag to single leg X, which is just this entry. Morning sleep. We have an arm drag to a double, just this. Boom. And then we have our collar tie chain, which I added a few more moves today. Whenever you do this collar tie, where you do your kind of hip heist, we call it, where we get up, you're often left in this nice turtle position. And I've just added kind of the turtle moves that we did from the previous class, which was, first of all, once you get there, get that proper head lock control by controlling the triceps and the kind of chin strap. And then you can move on to your moves like the guillotine, if they go for your legs and they leave their leg wide open, or the anaconda choke, which is here. But you could do any combination you kind of like. So that concludes kind of the distance style kind of butterfly guard, where you can do these kind of moves. There's a lot more, but this will give you a little simple chain that you can follow. Moving on to the single underhooks now. So this time we've managed to get in close and personal. We've actually got one underhook in place, and your kind of traditional move is the butterfly sweep. If you go to any classes, they'll probably teach you this, but there it is. The whole thing about the butterfly guard that I'd kind of elaborate on is switching sides. When you can't get a sweep going on to one direction, it looks something like this. I've tried to sweep her towards this side. She's leaning all her weight back. So I'm going to start by switching my hips to the other side. And then you can start looking for a chain on the whizzer side. So here I just do a regular butterfly sweep. But just like last week, we have our this is just talking about the head positioning. Getting your head to the other side will give you higher success on that sweep. And then the clamp guard, which is another great attacking tool from there, which is here, also called 3/4 kind of guard, which you can shoot for triangles, arm bars, guillotines, lots of little chains from there. But that's our single underhook chain. Then we moved on to our double underhook chain. So here we've managed to get actual double underhooks. Now we start our floating sequence where we can engage on the legs if we can. We can go to our one leg X where we can look for foot locks or heel hooks, that kind of stuff, or sweeps. So you can see how kind of versatile the butterfly guard is in terms of connecting to different kind of positions. We can do fancier entries from the float again into saddles like these. Again, you can get really creative with your entries from there, but this will give you an insight to the first kind of goals you have with double underhooks, which is 1, try to expose the legs, or 2, expose the arms and neck. So here we're exposing the legs by the person standing. We get into 411 and we have our 411 chain. If you guys remember from the leg lock classes, we control the top leg, then we move on to attacking the second leg there. Moving on to our arm crushes, so this is where we don't have access to the legs because the person's backing away, but it leaves their arms kind of vulnerable there, which we can engage on the arm crush. And there's several different combinations from there. And here's the one we looked at. We have our arm crush to collar tie combo to a sweep. And we have the Marcelo variation, which is the one where we get that grip under their throat. So we loop that arm over the head, under their chin, and then sweep. We talked about the bounce in the butterfly last class a bit, which was when we do a butterfly sweep, we need to learn how to follow the person. Like that. You can't, basically against good people, you have to learn this, because people have generally a good base at the high level, and just the regular sweep won't be enough. You need to be able to follow them wherever they go. And something which we didn't talk about in the previous class is the half butterfly, which we can get into. We did briefly go into in our half guard lesson, but this is another way to get into your butterfly guard like this. That's pretty much it for the half butterfly in terms of clips. Here, another entry for it from half guard. We can shrimp, get our butterfly in, and that's us in half butterfly. Anytime you're in half butterfly, it's quite an easy transition to regular butterfly. You just have to square up and you'll be there. So there's no fancy transitions for that. But that's pretty much our half guard kind of lesson there, our butterfly lesson in terms of bottom. We have our arm drags, collar ties, and front headlock for distance kind of butterfly. And then we have our single hook strategy, which you have the regular butterfly sweeps followed by the switching sides. And then we have our double unders, which expose the legs or the arms. Gives you a nice brief summary of what you're aiming to do, and with a few combinations there to get you started. But if you just remember that chain, you won't feel lost while you're in butterfly. Then on Monday, we looked at the half butterfly passing, which kind of shows all the kind of weakness or the kind of passes people can do to you while you're playing butterfly. It's good to know. But first up, we have forcing the half guard. It's a great way to get rid of the butterflies. And that just means I'm going to try my best to get this knee in between the legs. And like I said, just force a half guard. And if we can get that back flat to the floor, we're in a kind of a nice kind of static position where we can start doing our pressure chain from there. We want to avoid those half butterflies coming in, but we can also deal with that if they do get the butterfly. But again, if the person's kind of standing there square towards you and you don't want to be in that risk of getting arm dragged or butterfly swept, try forcing a half guard if you can. Some people just stand as well, that's another way, but I'm trying to keep it on our knees for these scenarios. Here's just me stressing about avoiding the knee shield or the half butterfly, so she can get that knee shield in place like that, which will make your pressure chain a little bit more dangerous to go for, but you can avoid it sometimes. Not the end of the world if you do as well. Then we go into a bit more of a pressure scenario. We have our over-unders. So this is where I'm going to dive like this, get my head to one side and engage on that over-unders pass. Again, several ways of entering, but this is just the kind of charge in over-under style. There. Little details about the over-unders is, one is your head positioning. You want it nice and close to the hips over here. You want to avoid this leg coming out. One, you get caught in triangles. And the last one would be this arm here. Try to keep it as tight as possible to that thigh to avoid any Kimura threats. But that's our basic over-unders there. Again, lots of little combinations from there, but that's our basic little scenario. There's another variation of the over-unders, especially from butterfly, because sometimes you won't be caught in the half guard, so this leg will be trapped in the middle. So you get this kind of version of the butterfly, where I can actually trap her heel towards the bottom of this arm. And it just means she can't lock up her half guard, and you might end up with a nice easy pass like this if you're tight enough, of course. But that gives us two moves from the over-unders. One, if your leg is on the middle and you can't trap this leg here, so that would be a regular kind of half guard style over-unders, and this one would be our butterfly style over-unders. Both very good. Moving on, we have our body locks kind of style passing. This one, you just want to charge in and try to get a lock around their waist of some sort. So there, bind the arms, and that's pretty much it. And from then on, all you care about is kind of pressuring in, bringing their heels towards their bottoms, and slowly working away towards a pass. So here I'm gonna try to transition my leg positioning, switch sides, step over, and get a pass. Sometimes you get caught in half guard, sometimes you get kind of trapped in between. But that gives you a basic idea of what to do. I think this is the last one in terms of pressure style passing. Next up is kind of your quick style passing. Basically, you're gonna either do a quick little pass on the hopes that you manage to get a pass or cause a scramble of some sort. Oh, looks like my camera's frozen again. I don't know what's happening to it. It happened last week as well. I'll just use this from now on. So the quick style kind of passes, we have headlock to the back. I really like this one. Only going to happen if the person's kind of leaning forward on you and you're kind of a bit higher than the other person. But here you're just gonna get a headlock in place like this and charge behind to get some sort of back control. So again, you have to be quite quick with these kind of style passes, but that's pretty much it. So here is where it kind of gets a bit trickier. We're kind of going to let the person engage on us now, so we can start these kind of chains. So in this first scenario, we're allowing the underhook to happen, and we're going to use our arm to collapse their knee in that direction. Boom, and go past. So again, she gets the underhook, I push her legs past and get into a tight kind of scenario. Same for this one. She again gets the underhook, but her knees flared this time. So I'm just going to get my hand to the mat and pass to the opposite side. So these kind of style of passings are kind of like you're setting up a trap, kind of, to see if you can get a quick little bonus to side control. But often enough, it just causes a scramble, but at least you won't be in that butterfly guard anymore. Now, these are kind of your scrambly kind of saving scenarios. So here we're gonna get butterfly swept, and a nice move to remember when you're getting butterfly swept is to continue the roll and spin underneath them, especially against a really strong butterfly hook, because the person, you feel yourself going quite fast, and if you can not let the person stabilize the top position by rolling underneath them, you kind of end up maybe with some back access, or often a single leg like this. So very useful to know this kind of move, to spin underneath. Now we're dealing with double underhooks. So in this case, the person managed to get double underhooks on us, and they start floating. Here's our basic insight to start the float passes. If I can windshield my leg in between to get rid of one of her butterfly hooks, it's happy days for me usually. Leg weave is the traditional one we kind of learn, which is getting your knee through. A little bit more dangerous in Ogi because of the leg locks, but if you know your leg weave and you know how to kind of position yourself, you should be good. Then we move on to those arm crushes that we need to be careful with. So here, arm crush, try not to just rip your arm out. The idea behind the counter to this is you want to walk yourself kind of over the head slightly, maybe hug them to take the pressure off, and then eventually turn your wrist to get yourself free. Again, they initiate the arm crush, hug, get to the center, and then try to get our arm free. You don't need to hug as deep as I did there in the video, but whatever makes you feel kind of safe, because of course on the bottom we'll be looking to do that Marcelo sweep, where if they hug us, we flare that elbow and sweep. So we don't want a really deep hug there. Dealing with the arm drag can be a bit tricky. A fun little counter is to re-drag. If you have quick enough reactions, you can do this. Won't work all the time, but it's a fun little move. We have the safe approach, which is if the person gets that 2-in-1 grip and you're kind of one step ahead, you can use your hands to block their shoulder from dragging you further, and maybe end up in some form of body lock passing, which is nice. But again, that's best case scenario there. Worst case, you get your back taken, obviously. One leg X counter. So from our this is basically countering our own chain. So from our chain, we said if someone drags us, we might step up on the leg, and the person might start going into one leg X. So be ready for that as well. Clear that foot, do a big back step, and that's pretty much it. Then we get to kind of another kind of quick style passing. We have the no-gi long step, which is really good. In this case, I'm gonna underhook a leg and kind of get this far side lat grip of some sort. And from here, I'm gonna do a big back step in the hopes that I can clear the butterfly hook and pass. So one more time. These require timing and kind of relatively good understanding of base, because you need her to be in a particular base for you to go for this. Otherwise, you might end up sweeping yourself. And there's our floor pass sequence. It's kind of hard to call this butterfly passing, but we can get this into from butterfly, but I have to clear one of her legs, so I have to step through into this kind of style, and this becomes flow passing. So you can see she does have one butterfly hook, but it isn't kind of fully on butterfly guard. From here, you're just trying to avoid this leg kicking through, or this leg kind of weaving inside as well. But the basic chain would be, if you can get an underhook, that's you with a knee slice. So can't see the angle there, but basically I'm just weaving my right arm as an underhook. Then you can initiate a knee slice. We have the wind show, so this time I can't get that underhook going on, so I'm going to look for a wind show. So there, just going to base on my arms, bring that wind show on top of there, shin to shin, extend that through, and might end up in a nice little scenario, 3/4 mount. And then the snow plow, which is just, if you can get her shins together into that kind of position, you can crush them and pass towards the opposite side. Again, there's a lot of different combinations you can do in chains, but this is another good way to deal with the butterfly, if you can get that inside control. Your other style is kind of a scramble style kind of scenario, which is rolling attacks. Could be rolling guillotines, rolling kimuras, rolling leg locks, whatever you can do. But basically, grab a neck, roll through, hope that you get somewhere nicely if you get enough control. Same for the kimuras. I'm doing this all from the floating pass, but it really depends on how brave you are. You could just jump from a butterfly scenario like this, if you have enough driving and belief. Or you can go for this kind of float passing approach, which we see more often, which is get that back to the kind of halfway there, and then start your rolling chains. And here you've got different moves depending on where the person goes. We might do a kimura lesson at some point to look at it in detail. But to recap the passing lesson, basically, if you don't like butterfly, try forcing a half guard and go for your traditional half guard passing. We have a kind of tight pressure scenarios, which is our over-unders on body locks. So here we have over-unders with a shin trap or butterfly trap we call it as well. We have our body lock style passing, for really good style to get good at. Probably one of the best no-gi style passing. Moving on, we have kind of a headlock approach, which is if you see a chance where the guy's head is kind of leaning forward, you can snap a headlock and kind of spin around towards their back. Then we have our quick style passes. This is setting traps basically. Let them have an underhook, quick push, jump past their guard. If that needs flare too much, we have the underhook instead, and then we kind of flop around. If you do get caught by trying to set up the trap, so here I've set up the trap, but I'm actually getting swept this time, have a little backup plan, and the spin under is a great one. They start sweeping you, you roll through and get up. Then we have our double underhooks approach. So if you do get double underhook, careful with your legs, try to windshield if you can, and that's you kind of dealing with the leg locks. And we can go to leg weave if you like, but be careful with the 411 entries. Make sure you practice the leg weave and be confident with it. If you don't want, if you haven't exposed your legs, you probably exposed your arms. So learn your arm crush counters here. Hug them, try to avoid the arm extension first, then kind of get your arm back by pulling it in the middle of the center line as opposed to on your side. If you get caught in arm drags, we have a fun little counter, which is the re-drag if you're feeling faster than the person, or a slow approach. They get that 2-on-1 grip, block their shoulder, get your head, and try to set up a body lock. If you get caught in our one leg X, know that we need to clear that foot and back step as soon as we can. Avoid being on your knees there. Have our no-gi long steps. It's kind of a wild card over there. Good pass as well. And lastly, our float sequence, which is getting that inside control, getting that back to the mat. If you can get an underhook, that's our knee slice. If we can't get the underhook, we start trying our kind of wind chill style passing. I forgot the name of this, but there is a name for that little extension that we do there. And snowplow, if the knees are a bit together or on the opposite side of your hip, often better to just blast your way through like that. And then the last one is our rolling strategies. So here, look for the guillotine, do your forward rolls, or look for kimura and do your forward rolls. Lovely. Nice. And that kind of concludes our kind of butterfly lesson. Should have a decent understanding and kind of a little strategy in terms of passing and on the bottom. But like I said, the biggest factor about butterfly guard is how much you can connect between guards. Can end up in turtle, can end up in one leg X guards. We'll see that we can just attack pretty much anywhere around the body with those guards just by starting from here. We didn't touch too much on half butterfly, but we did do it in our half guard lesson. But half butterfly is another great little friend to have to your butterfly. The main reasons are it's a bit safer in terms of you can keep the person there a bit longer than regular butterfly. So here, a half butterfly, let me just show. Because you have that half guard control here, you're able to keep the person a bit closer to you and they won't stand as much. So it's a good little move to have as well. But yeah, any questions, fire them away now. Haven't been rolling, so don't have any rolling footage to show you guys today. I think we've watched most of them already. But some nice matches going on tonight. Is it tonight? You got event, which is Gordon Ryan versus Wagner. Mikey will be fighting as well. And then we got some meme fights the following days. No secret roles today. I don't have. Let me see if I can find some old footage. I don't have any new ones. Yeah, it'll be on Flow Grappling, but it's quite late here, so I'll probably watch it tomorrow. It's at, I think, 12 o'clock a.m. And the main events, last time I watched it, was at like 4:30 a.m. and it was not worth waiting that long for the main event. Yeah, people were kind of hating on them because it was, I think they only offer a yearly subscription, isn't it? You can't get like a one-off to watch the event. But I'm sure there'll be like some streams out there if you're really looking for it. I think they have the prelims that are free as well at some time. But I'm looking forward to have you seen the Greg Jones drama with Gabby Garcia? That's what everyone's talking about. Yeah, I tried watching it alone. I was like falling asleep. There's a what they call it, intergender tournament going on with Greg Jones and Gabby Garcia. Let me find it. It's so funny. It's insane. Apparently it's true. We don't know. It's in 3 days. But you can see the articles popping out. Here it is.
So Sunday, flying to LA to fight Gabby Garcia. We'll do a no time limit match in her gym, and we'll stream that free, supposedly, yeah.
So you're 100% you're gonna fight Gabby Garcia coming up.
100%, yeah.
How do you think this match is gonna go down?
Hopefully well for me. Otherwise, if I lose, I'll retire.
If you lose, you're gonna.
The memes are hilarious. Yeah, the memes. That's Gabby Garcia. This one. We're tired was 10. But yeah, apparently, I think they were joking at first, and then they made it a real thing somehow. I think so. Is it gonna? He said 3 days, so it's gonna be on. It's either on Sunday or Monday, one of those. It will be fun, yeah. It's even better because it's free on Instagram Live. Well, yeah. It'll be a very interesting match. Alright guys, I'll leave you to it. That's pretty much it for today. So next week, might do a half butterfly lesson, or I've been watching some Mikey's DVDs. I might do a Mikey DVD review, something different. Or I might do another kind of live drilling session. I'll see what I'll plan. But have a lovely weekend. Enjoy the sun. And see you guys. And I need to fix my camera. My camera froze again today. It's still frozen. Yep. I don't know what's going on. Right. Have a lovely week. Take care, boys.